Welcome or welcome back to Know Thyself. So I'm a bit late to this, I think, as with everything really, but I wanted to do that 9-card spread that I mentioned in my last video that I picked up from Sylvan, and that I also saw Meg at Rose Honey Ritual do. I also saw Marlene's video, and I think Sylvan originally got that spread from Truth and Story. So I've been working with it a bit, and I thought it's gone well for me. I thought I'd give it a shot. I'd get kind of personal because I've had a few things going on, and yeah, I kind of just want, I don't know how personal I'm gonna get. Again, this is my space, but I don't know if I'm even gonna post this video. So yeah, I just kind of wanna sling some cards and use it as a space, use it as a means to channel what I've been feeling recently. I've had a crisis of sorts, or a relapse, and I want to see, I kind of want to see what I can get from tarot in that respect. So after some deliberation, I thought I'd just go for the Intuitive Night Goddess. I thought it was the most balanced deck in that respect to read with for my own personal 9-card spread, because of, you know, the kind of, as it's a kind of solitary deck, as I remember, I can't remember who I heard that from, but it does feel like quite a solitary deck. Usually you only see one figure in each card, so I thought that was quite fitting for a personal reading about myself, about what I've been going through. I did consider some other decks, and I kind of want to show them off because they're recent acquisitions, so why not? I was considering the Edmund Dulac, so I already etched this one in a, I don't know what color to call this. It's a it's kind of it looks like a rose gold, but it's like a bronze. Yeah. So I'm not gonna get into these two decks too much because I'll probably make separate videos on them, or I'll go over them in some kind of at present or favorites type video. But I did think this one was quite fit. I thought this one would have been the one that I'd go with because of the, I don't know, the kind of poetic scenery. I thought I could get a lot intuitively from this deck. It feels like a very watery deck. It feels like it has its own emotional landscape of sorts. And also one of the reasons I bought it was because it reminds me very much of where my parents live right now, where my mother's from. Well, my grandmother on my mum's side is from originally the south of Spain, and there's still a heavy Islamic influence in the culture here, in the architecture, in just in everything really, in the most southern part of Spain. And this, I don't know what it is about this. I think it's maybe the settings, the dressing, the costumes, the characters. It feels like a genus loci deck for me. I don't know what it is, but it just completely embodies this part of where I am right now in Spain for me. And yeah, I just really wanted this to connect with I guess my heritage from this part of Spain, and just connect with this place in particular every time I'm away from it. So whenever I'm not at here, I'm not at my parents' house, I just want something to connect me to this place, to the spirit of this place. And this is so perfect for that. You know, this lover's card particularly just really reminds me of the kind of plants I see around here, the terrain, the landscape. So yeah, I don't know, this just kind of, this in general connects me to Mediterranean culture, maybe even Greek, you know, Turkish, but in particular, in my case, it's southernmost Spain, and I'm so in love with this deck. That was one option I had, and I discarded it. Then I also, so this was a recent acquisition, and then the other option I had, which is so shameless, I don't know, this, I feel like I should dedicate a, what was that tag called from, recent video from Three Girls One Deck. I think it was the darkest part of my psyche, or the darkest corner of my psyche. Essentially a guilty pleasure deck, but I'm unabashedly in love with this deck, and it's it's so, you know, there's like airbrushed fantasy, high fantasy, gothic, kind of those t-shirts, the airbrush, you know, those t-shirts, the ones you get in stalls and kind of street vendors, and it just has that quality to it. But I don't know what it is about this deck. It it connects me with my teenage years, and I really love it. I'm not ashamed that I love this corny looking deck, but I do. It really does it for me. I don't know what it is. And also, surprisingly, I found that these two decks pair really well with each other. I don't know if it's the borders or the colors, or I don't know exactly, because this is collage. This is very obvious digital collage of kind of older illustrations, kind of brought together, engravings and such. And this is obviously photo manipulation, just very cheap looking, photo manipulated, kind of rendered art. Yeah, high fantasy goth, airbrushed high fantasy goth. Oh, this is my preferred one to, you know, the Dark Angels. I definitely might get the Dark Angels eventually, but this was my preferred. I prefer this one a little bit more to the Dark Angels. So yeah, this pairs surprisingly well with the Intuitive Night Goddess. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, this is the Dark Fairytale Tarot from Lo Scarabeo. If you even remotely interested in it. But yeah, let me try and get this. I don't know what it is. I might have to put this a little bit to the left here. Oh, because I've got the glare. Okay, I really shouldn't spend much more time on this, but I just kind of wanted to show off how well it pairs with these two decks. Yeah, so I won't go into it too much, but I don't know, visually there's something about it. I think I can get some really good messages from combining these two. Because this is very celestial, this feels very of earth, but at the same time it has that fantasy filter on it. So it isn't super, you know, it's kind of as above so below, but the below is also kind of, you know, fantastical, and I don't know, I love this Ten of Swords. It's brutal, but I love it. Yeah, I don't know what it is. This feels like I can't explain it. I can't really justify my thought process. Maybe it's because of the airbrushed, kind of like the airbrushed t-shirt quality of it. It feels like late summer thunderstorms to me. This feels like a summery deck, and I can't justify my reasoning really, but it feels that way to me. And I know it's going to be great now in autumn and winter. It's going to be really good to work with in the darker parts of the year, but this feels like a late summer deck to me. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to show off that combo that I really love, and is such an unexpected such an unexpected combination that I don't know what it is, but it works so well. So yeah, if you're into the Dark Angels tarot and you think you'd be into this very, very cheesy looking fantasy gothic fantasy artwork, I don't know what to call it really, this might be one for you. It reads well. I don't know, I just like, I kind of like the atmosphere of it. You know, I don't really concentrate so much on the characters so much per se. I don't know, it's more like the actual setting of this kind of fairy tale realm. So yeah, I just wanted to show off that before I begin. Anyway, I should definitely move on to the actual bulk of the video, because I really don't want this to be an hour long. So the way I'm gonna do it is, so I'm gonna shuffle. I'm gonna use the exact same layout, obviously, but I'm not going to lay it out in the same way. So I'm going to use the same shape, the same formation, the same positions. I'm just going to go from left to right though, so I'll explain my thought process as to why I'm doing it that way. But also I'm wondering who would be interested in me doing pickleball readings, because I know those attract a different crowd. They're a little bit contentious in TarotTube, I feel, but I want to do them. I think they're fun. I think as long as, you know, I have my own ethics surrounding that, they're readings that I just wouldn't do, because they just don't align with my own personal gnosis. So I wouldn't do them just because. But I'm interested to know if anyone basically, I don't want to scare away the few subscribers I do have so far, by offering these sort of general pickleball readings, you know, for fun. I think it's a good way to utilize my decks. I just think they're fun, really. I don't take them too seriously, and I would never do them on certain topics just because, again, I don't really believe in them. I think I could go into that in a whole other video, but I think some topics in this community of pickleball readers sometimes can be a little bit exploitative. I don't really want to go down that road, so that's not my thing. But yeah, I want to know if there's interest in that. I think they'd be fun. So yeah, let's get on to it, because I've been blabbering for I don't know for how long. I'm getting... Okay, so what else? I'll be back home soon, so I'll probably make an at present again, just kind of recapping my experiences maybe with the decks I brought with me. I did actually end up changing my mind with a few, bringing some more, leaving others home, and I did acquire a few decks while I was here. So while I'm here, I'm still here. But yeah, I'll be back home soon. So yeah, I don't know what videos I have planned. I probably do a few more tags, just as a way to kind of introduce myself further, and I don't know, I think tags are just a good way to I mean, to show off your collection, I guess. Essentially that's what these tags are for, but I think they're a good way to sort of reveal tidbits of information about yourself, and just kind of in a sort of gradual way. I don't know what else to say. I'm honestly, I'm blabbering. I'm sorry if this isn't the best video ever, and I say that maybe with every video I make. Again, I'm still a rookie at making content creation, so I don't know, let's just get into it really. I might edit a lot of this out, honestly. I might edit a lot of this out, so if I do leave this part in, just know that I probably did edit a lot of other things out. Okay. I think that's good enough. So I'm gonna go from left to right, as I said. So from past to future. Well, I'm gonna lay out, I'm gonna do present first. So I'm gonna lay out I might not be able to fit all the cards vertically on screen, so there might be an issue there, but I'll have to just make do. Okay. Then I'm gonna go with, so that's the first position, present, your present situation. Then we have past influences. What's passing, what's leaving. And then we have what's coming in, future influences, that sort of stuff. Wait, no, I was gonna do this differently. Shit, okay. I was gonna go from left to right. So present, past, and then I'm gonna do, I don't know why I'm doing it this way, but I just kind of want to go from left to right. So I'm gonna move this. It was like this. So this is Earth, the Earth position. We have 4 elements represented here. So as if you've seen other videos of this spread, you'll probably know what each position, each elemental position is referring to, but you know, these are essentially different areas of your life. So your surroundings, your health, your finances. Wait, I'm gonna, this is air, so the mind, intellect, ideas. Then we have, okay, so what is helping you? Might have to, what is helping you? What is hindering you? Then we have water, so the realm of emotions and feelings, relationships. I don't really know if I'm getting all of this on in frame. I might have to, I'll adjust these. I'll adjust them. But yeah. So water, fire, so projects, work, drive, inspiration, motivation, and then future influences. So I'm gonna turn them over one at a time, see how I can bounce off them for what I've been feeling these past few days, these past few weeks. So present, for present we have, okay, the Warrior of Pentacles. So yeah, I felt kind of sluggish in terms of my progress. It's almost sometimes felt like I've taken a step back, and I suppose recovery isn't linear. You know, you'll take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I don't know if recovery is the word for it, because it just feels like a lifelong process, a lifelong struggle. I don't know if I'm ever going to be free of my mental issues. One day. I just think it's a lifelong pursuit of well-being and stability. I don't know, it's not something that's, I mean, honestly, I've been at this for years, so really I've been reflecting on that. I've been reflecting on my progress. I've been reflecting on my relapses. I've been reflecting on my setbacks a lot these past few days. So I definitely see the Warrior, I mean the Knight of Pentacles in that. It's just steady, very slow, heavy work that's put into staying sane, into maintaining my emotional well-being, my mental health. As I said, it's not a linear process. You just have to take it one day at a time. That's hard for me to integrate. I think I definitely see where this is going. Just taking it one step at a time, one day at a time. Just, yeah, that's the ideal approach, because when I start projecting myself into the future or kind of dwelling on the past, that's where things get really rocky, unstable. I really, you know, one of my things, so to speak, I don't really know what to call it, is that rumination. I am a very introspective person. I ruminate a lot, I think a lot, I intellectualize a lot sometimes, and sometimes that's precisely what I can't or shouldn't do, because I have OCD, and I tend to get stuck in these spirals that are really, honestly, I'm not exaggerating, impossible to break out of. I have to distract myself in some way to kind of snap out of it. So rumination for me, not good, not ideal. I have to be more active. I have to be more grounded. Have my feet on the ground, not so much in there up in the clouds, just projecting, and kind of stewing in my own fears, stewing in my own insecurities and my own self-criticism, that kind of thing. So yeah, things are slow right now. Things almost feel like they're going backwards sometimes, but no, I think my progress overall, I can say I'm definitely getting better. It's just it's frustrating is all I can say. I just kind of want, because I've been at this, I've had these issues for most of my life, and I've really been suffering with kind of in the deepest pits of despair for the past few years. It's hard not to get impatient, is what I'm getting. It's hard not to want things now, because I've been struggling with it for so long that I just want it to be done. I just want it to be over with. I don't want to have to deal with it anymore. So that in itself is a source of frustration for me. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna get to cover everything in this video, obviously. This is just a glimpse into my current state, I guess. Okay, so let's move on to the past. Okay, 10 of Cups. Interesting. So I think this does point to kind of the fall from grace that I experienced pre-relapse. I don't know. I think I was doing really well. It's almost kind of I like to think of this as, you know, the 9 of Cups is the wish fulfillment card. This is almost the wish itself. It's not really grounded in reality. In fact, it's quite fleeting, if it even exists. You know, the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of bliss it's complex. It's maybe a topic for another video, but you know, not to be pessimistic about the 10 of Cups, because I guess that's not what it's really about, but it's quite a fleeting view into happiness. I do feel like the 10 of Cups is the fantasy self, the aspirational self. I feel like you can maybe get to the 9 of Cups realistically. You can reach that stage by yourself. There's that sense of accomplishment, of fulfillment. And the 10 of Cups is, you know, something that you kind of attain as a community on a collective level, but it's very hard to grasp. It's very hard to attain. And I definitely have a tendency, that's really understatement of the year. I have a tendency to idealize and then catastrophize. I tend to think in extremes. I'm working on it, but unfortunately my brain just kind of works that way. It's when I'm at my most centered and grounded that I can think in kind of the gray areas. I can think in nuances, but when my emotions are heightened in one direction or another, I can only think in extremes. So this for me is an extreme. Well, actually it's Mars in Pisces also. Pisces ruled by Mars. So I want to make a video about the 10 of Cups. Kind of demoralizing one, because I was thinking of calling it it's not the happy ending that we assume it is, the 10 of Cups. But yeah, okay, so next position is what should we go for? Should we go for, I guess, okay, let's work from left to right then. So Earth, awakening. Yeah, I've definitely had a few rude shocks in the earthly, the material realm that triggered my relapse. Again, connecting this with the Ten of Cups. Yeah, these two cards in conjunction, it's like, for me, it speaks of the dream and waking up from the dream. Reality not meeting my expectations and having to face reality, having to face the grittier, harder aspects of my life, my situation, my mental health, not liking what I'm faced with. Yeah, I don't know. I think this card speaks for itself. At least for me, it's quite self-explanatory. I've definitely been in that kind of headspace of expectations versus reality, having external events and external factors kind of forcibly face me with the reality of things, which has not been pleasant, has kind of triggered a few downward spirals. I don't know, but this is also, you know, a card of hope, I think. A card of, if I can reckon with where I'm at right now, if I can kind of use this as a compass for where I am and where I need to go, where I want to go, if I can just stay centered and grounded in reality, and not so much up in the airy space, in the air realm, the mental space. It's not about lowering my expectations, it's just about being realistic, and that's something I struggle with. Again, it comes from that idealizing and then catastrophizing dichotomy that I struggle with. I can't seem to find the nuance or the center of that spectrum, and I've definitely had to face a few things. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't want to make this video too long, so let's move on to air. Ten of Swords. Yes, okay, absolutely. I mean, I feel that's self-explanatory. I've come to the end of a cycle. I mean, yesterday I feel like it culminated in the end of a specific thought pattern, and I just cycle through these thought patterns. They repeat themselves, they're recurring, but this is definitely this is like me snapping out of it, managing to snap out of it, really putting my foot down and ending it before it gets out of hand and grows to a point, a size that I can't manage. Ten of Swords does feel very definitive and finalized for me. It does feel quite, again, the Ten of Swords and the Ten of Cups is like two opposite ends of the spectrum. The ones I'm talking about, the idealization and the catastrophizing, those two extremes. Yeah, I see that. So I'm sorry if you see any sweat marks. That's disgusting. It's hot. What can I say? I have sweaty hands. That's gross. But yeah, I think this cardstock is just kind of prone to that. This matte cardstock is prone to like sweat marks showing up. Okay, so where should we go next? Okay, so what's helping me? Ace of Swords. Interesting. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't think that was the case. Because this does belong to the mental realm, I guess. Clarity of thought, a new direction, just kind of, I mean, I see it's interesting that the conjunction of the warrior with the sword, you do tend to associate the knights and the, well, warriors and knights with swords. So it's almost like the warrior of pentacles is wielding the ace of swords, the sword, and emerging victorious, you know, the crown. So yeah, it's almost like a weapon. It's almost like a weapon that I'm wielding. That, you know, it can almost go in either direction, right? It can cut me, it can be detrimental to my mental health, to my well-being, or it can be beneficial if I redirect it, if I channel it right. If I yeah, it's it's a double-edged sword. It's literally a double-edged sword. So it's almost a little bit, its position here is almost tentative. It's almost kind of shaky. But I think this is reaffirming that I can control my mind, and not have it control me. That's an idea that I struggle with, kind of affirming to myself, reaffirming that I can actually control my thoughts because of the nature of these cyclical thought patterns. I kind of get swept away in them, so it feels impossible to, it just feels impossible to buy into the idea that I can control my mind, I can control where my mind goes. But I mean, I guess this is reaffirming that I can, and I should, even if it's a very, very slow process. It's just, I guess what matters is that I just stick to it. I just don't falter. Consistency is really the way to kind of unlock this mentality, this Ace of Swords, to wield it with power and not have it disempower me. Okay, so what is hindering me? 10 of Wands, yes. Exhaustion. So not just exhaustion, but jadedness as well. I see this as jadedness. I don't know if you can see this, but the 10, okay, maybe now. So the 10 of Wands I see as, I was definitely thinking this yesterday, jadedness, just feeling like I'm at the end of my tether. That is a very common feeling for me. Like, why should I keep going? Because I've done so much, almost like I have so much on my plate. I'm doing so much. I'm doing everything I can, really. I'm pulling out all my resources. I'm pulling out all the stops. I'm doing everything I can. I'm referring to my toolkit, you know, my mental health toolkit, any resources I have, anything I've learned over the years. I'm doing everything I can and it's not working, so why should I even bother? That kind of thinking really doesn't help. I think that's quite self-explanatory, but when I get in that headspace. It's very hard to get out of it because it's self-defeating. I mean, I know the Ten of Wands isn't really a card of self-defeating. It's more the Eight of Swords, I guess. But I do feel this burden that, yeah, that kind of attitude doesn't help me. Okay, so again, I don't want this to be 2 hours long. Let's move on. What is in the water position? Reclamation. Okay, this is the Devil. Now, despite the keyword, I don't know if I see this as positively. Not just because it's the Devil, but because it just kind of ties into that idea of control, of losing my sense of self-control, kind of losing the reins of my mind, just kind of feeling trapped, imprisoned by my own emotions, by my own thought patterns, by my own destructive, self-destructive behaviors that arise from these thought patterns, these cyclical thought patterns. So I definitely see the Devil, reclamation. I mean, this is also kind of nudging me in the direction of reclaiming the reins of my mind, regaining that control, not struggling with my shadow, but working with it. That's been something I've been reflecting on recently, kind of integrating the shadow, how I'm gonna go about that. I have a lot of shadow, I have a lot of shadow issues. I have a lot of shadow work to do. So yeah, the integration of that I think is important to maintaining control. And I feel like having a sense of control is important to me, obviously for OCD reasons, but also I need to learn to let go, and that is a lesson for me that I'm still working through. That is it's gonna take a while for me to really assimilate, because I just can't let go. I can't let go of the very few things I feel that I can control. That is something I really struggle with. So I need to have things in my life that I feel in a kind of microcosmic way I can control, even if it's a false sense of control, right? I think the Devil speaks of that as well, false sense of control. Relapse as well. I see relapse in this. Okay, and then fire. The Sun. Well, I'm definitely more optimistic today. I don't know if I can expand much on the Sun, really. I'm definitely, compared to yesterday, I'm definitely a lot more optimistic today. As usual, every morning I go for a jog, I exercise, I walk down to the beach, I swim a bit. That helps me start my day right. And it's a routine that I'm hoping I can continue. I don't want to lose that routine, so I'm gonna stick to that kind of morning walk, morning exercise. I know a few places by where I live. I just think it really has made a difference in just how I start my day. I don't know, I didn't think that would make such a difference, but it really does. It kind of shifts my perspective for the day. Even if later on I have my issues, this definitely helps me reset. Getting some sun. I really need to get out, so that's motivating me at least. Yeah, that's a motivator of sorts. Let's just move on to the last card, finally. So the future position, or future influences, things that are coming in. Let's see. Chance, the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, that is a bit scary. That's a bit scary to me, because you don't know what direction it's going to go in. And that does reflect the what's the word? The tentative, the unstable state of mind that I tend to inhabit. I'm gonna, you know, in conjunction with the sun and the devil, I'm gonna take that as a positive. I'm gonna try and just take that positively. Yeah. I think the point is that it's kind of out of my hands, but there are things I can do to influence my condition, the future, where I go. I can, to an extent, steer the wheel, or at least push it a bit in a certain direction and then just watch it go. Because then once it starts, it's kind of a self-perpetuating machine. It just runs by itself. That's very much how my mind works. Like, I just need that initial thought. Sometimes it just takes one thought for a cyclical thought pattern to appear. So I just need to steer it in the right direction and hopefully maintain it there. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I don't know if I've even said that much. I mean, I have, in terms of how long this video has been, I don't know. But I don't know how much I can say without saying too much. I will go into it though, because I want to talk about my depression. I want to talk about my OCD. I'm just gonna lay it all out there. My ADHD, borderline personality disorder, agoraphobia, eating disorder, all of that. the whole gang's here. But yeah, I will go into that because I think it's important and it's part of my journey, and it's important to me that I talk about it candidly. Kellyanne Maddox is such an inspiration to me, and I hope I can reach that level of raw honesty, vulnerability that is just so transformative and therapeutic. I really want to reach that level of confidence with my expressing myself, talking about my struggles, hopefully so that it will reach someone that can relate and it will help someone. At least one person out there can get something from it. So that was that. That was that 9-card spread. Very long-winded. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try and edit this down as much as I can. Yeah, that was a glimpse into my sick, twisted mind. My dark, twisted mind. No. So yeah, that was fun. I feel like I definitely saw myself. I could definitely see where this was going. I was kind of nervous that the cards, I wouldn't be able to get much from what I drew. I wouldn't be able to see reflected in this spread what I was feeling, what I've been feeling recently. But you just have to trust, right? That's the whole point of tarot and oracle, I guess, divination. You just have to trust, put your trust in it. Otherwise it just doesn't work, if that makes any sense. That's just part of the magic. That's part of the process. Just trusting that it works. And because you trust it works, it works. It's a psychological trick as well. So yeah, I hope that was insightful, illustrative, helpful, cathartic in any way. I'd really like to see more video responses to, well, Sylvain was the first video I saw about the 9-card spread. I'd love to see more people do this, even though, well, it's quite vulnerable. You're really putting yourself out there. But if anyone feels comfortable to do so, I'd love to see more people kind of join in and do a VR. I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Bye.